Well, good evening. I'm Reverend Richard Burdick, and it's my pleasure to welcome those of you online and those of you in the room to our Wednesday night experience here at Unity North. We call it Rapping with the Rev, but the first half an hour of our time together tonight will be spent in meditation. We're going to be just quiet and reflective. You know, I thought as I considered what topic would be good tonight, the term meditation itself is often intimidating to a lot of people. I think if there's one thing that people come into my office and want to know, it's I don't know how to meditate. Teach me how to meditate. I have such difficulty being quiet. So we're going to start by being quiet, and then we're going to have a dialogue, a discussion with those in the room. And those of you online, you can put something into the Facebook chat, and the guys in the booth will put your questions out into the room. We're not going to be doing Zoom tonight. So I invite you to right now to just join me and do whatever you need to do to get your soul and your spirit, your body, your mind, and your heart into a quiet place. And I'm going to begin with this reading from Deepak Chopra as the foundation of our dialogue and our meditation tonight. He writes this: the real you which lies beyond thought, can only be found in the now. Let us be here now. Your true self, he writes, existing in the eternal now, is neither an observer nor an object of observation. As soon as a thought arises in your mind, however, an observer appears, along with the object of observation. So our job tonight, before I continue his reading, is to suspend any part of you that feels that you are an observer or that you are being observed, wherever you happen to be. He continues, thus we find that each person exists in two realities. First is the silent state of being that is not captured by time. This is the home of bliss. I'm going to invite you to join me in a home of suspended time. There is no time, there's no clock or calendar. There's nothing but the eternal now, the home of bliss. The second world is the one that we often escape when we go into meditation. He writes, the relative world full of experience. The mind lives in this world by constantly acting as an observer, focused on an object of observation. Consider those thoughts and then let them go. Let's see if we can't find that eternal place of now, that eternal place of peace. Some would call it God. I invite you to call it whatever feels right to you and to see if we can't find that place together tonight. Let's enter into the sacred sanctuary of presence as we breathe together. Let us set an intention to be aligned, united, and connected to all that is, with no need to control, no need to identify, no need to observe, but just be. Breathe with me once again. And on the exhale, allow yourself to be. That's it. Just be. Allow yourself to be. We begin our time of reflection, our time of being, with the still small voice of God guiding us into that place. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. If you're so led to sing these words with me as we journey together to the eternal bliss, the eternal heaven that exists only right here, right now, please do. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. We'll sing this three more times. Find the place where you're no longer singing and observing words and melody, but the words and the melody and the thoughts and the ideas are singing you. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. One last time. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Let us enter a period of silence, of stillness, of being, of presence, of light, of love. Continue to breathe, paying attention to nothing and everything all at the same time. In the silence. It is there in the silence where those that are unfamiliar with the silence begin to become an observer and begin to notice all the thoughts like a train going through our mind. Ours is to notice that we are observing and then let it go. Release that train of thoughts and return to presence, to stillness. Be still and know God. If you catch yourself, each time breathe, release, and return to presence, stillness, and silence. presence and breath. That's all that matters. And it may be that you found that spot for 3 seconds. Hallelujah. You found it for 3 seconds. Hallelujah. You escaped thought and observation and judgment for 3 seconds. Maybe 4. Maybe longer. It is there that you have touched and tasted the sweet nectar of God's cup of existence. And once you have tasted it and known it, 3 seconds becomes 4, becomes 5. Until eventually it becomes the eternal now. Be in that eternal now right now, the home, the dwelling place of the Most High, the abode of God. The sweet sanctuary where nothing but God exists. Oh, and you may still bounce back and forth between thought and observation, silence and being. The journey is more important than the observation. God is here. God is now. And in the here and now, we realize that God is all. And that no matter what is going on in the world, within us or outside of us, all is perfect. All is right in my world here and now. Feel that with me right now. What does it feel like to know that right here, right now, where you are, all is well? For God is here. God is there. God is now. God is all. God is here. God is now. God is all. God is the life within my soul. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. Breathe with me in this eternal now. All is perfect and right. There is no out there. There is no tomorrow or yesterday. There is just the eternal sanctuary of now. God is here. God is now. God is all. God is the life within my soul. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. Know this with me. God is here. God is now. God is all. God is the life within my soul. So I see and I feel and I know all is perfect and right in my world. Returning to that sanctuary of silence, back and forth from being an observer to just being. Allow yourself to know all is well right where you are in the silence. All there is the eternal now. Everything else is made up. And so in this eternal now, can you be present with the oneness, the light, the love, the Spirit that is all creation, and transcend ideas of you and me? That is the mind in a state of observation. But to live in the awareness that there is no you or me, there is only God, the experience of God. Can we transcend the space of observation that says there is us and there is them, a man-made construct, and just be in a holy state of being? There is only God. Find that place with me now. And if your mind bounces back in like the train, just return to the holy awareness that your soul is the presence of God, and it has never been and never will be separate from all that has ever been. There is no you, there is no me, there's only God that I can see. There is no you, there is no me, there's only God that I can see. There is no us, there is no them, there's only God, amen. There is no us, there is no them, there's only God, amen. There is no you, there is no me, there's only God that I can see. There is no you. There is no me. There's only God that I can see. There is no us. There is no them. There's only God. Amen. There is no us. There is no them. There's only God. Amen. And our next period of silence, as the train of thoughts and observations comes through, see it all as God. As any feeling comes up, see it as God. As any face or person comes to mind, simply see them as God. For in the eternal now and the sanctuary of presence, that's all there is. See and know God in the silence. What an amazing and beautiful world it would be when enough of us simply resonate at the place of presence. No need to do or to achieve, to hold or grasp or to become. Just the call of God to God within all creation. I see you with the eyes of God as you see me with the eyes of God. All judgment suspended. Any observations set aside. Important information. That we find each other at the level of our spirits, our souls, our hearts. What an amazing world that will be. Maybe we can taste a little bit of that nectar here tonight. God has found itself once again, for we have come together once again. And maybe, just maybe, the world is a little bit more peaceful because we have done so. And maybe, just maybe, you had 3 seconds. 3 seconds of that being. But your 3 seconds and my 3 seconds and someone else's 3 seconds overlapped. That's the space. And in the overlap, 3 seconds becomes 4, becomes 5, becomes a new reality. And that reality is peace, peace, peace on earth. Our final chant, I invite you to be present to this reality. Peace, 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 peace on earth. Peace, peace, peace for all the universe. Peace, 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 peace on earth. Peace, peace, peace for all the universe. Feel it, sense it, know it, be it, God. Love, unity. Peace, 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 peace on earth. Peace, peace, peace for all the universe. And so we breathe once again together, but perhaps that breath contains within it a little bit more oneness. And this time as we breathe in and exhale, maybe open our eyes, our inner eyes and our outer eyes, to bring back into this time and space on earth our 3 seconds. Or maybe our 20 minutes. There is no time. So that which was needed has been achieved. But to bring back now that left brain, that part of us that observes as we talk about our 3 seconds, or all the train cars that went by in our mind. I'm going to invite you, those who are not staying for the dialogue that's about to happen, to join us next week. We have a very special time next week, and I'm going to invite you, if you've ever considered coming into the room, we have a panel of very strong women that has been selected, hand-selected, to create a powerful dialogue and meditation of overcoming. Women who have dealt with physical challenges, life challenges, and seen the other side, and found the other side, and found themselves, found that stillness, that 3 seconds, in the midst of some of the hardest challenges they've ever experienced. I invite you to to consider joining us next week. Right now, I'm going to ask the people in the room to join us. They wanted to sit in a circle here tonight, and so those of you, they're fairly close. That may be good enough. I'm going to bring my notes down from the meditation, and I'm going to invite those of you who are not staying for the dialogue portion online to consider making a donation of gratitude and thanks for today's meditation. But I'm going to see if we can't come to some awareness, some lessons, some truths that might help that person who might cross your path that says, I want so desperately to find peace. I want so desperately to find meditation. And I don't know how. And I'm going to begin our dialogue, and I want to thank you guys I challenged them. It's a small group here tonight, but I challenged everybody to not be shy. And a few of you walked in, and you always have something wise to say, and I appreciate that. But I want to begin the dialogue portion, and I'm going to give a microphone. If anybody would be willing to run the microphone for me, and you don't have to be on camera. We'll get maybe the back of your head. David, you want to do that for me? Sometimes the camera is intimidating. Thanks, David. But to take the ideas from the meditation, and we'll start with that Deepak Chopra quote again from his book. I'm not sure which book it came from. The real you, which lies beyond thought, can only be found in the now. So what he's saying is you don't exist yesterday. You don't exist tomorrow. You only exist right here. Your true self, existing in the eternal now, is neither an observer nor an object of observation. And I think sometimes we think we need to become an observer. We go into a time of meditation and it actually shoots us in the foot. I need to see something. I need to feel something. I need to achieve something. And what he's saying is you've already killed the meditation. You can't get there if you're expecting something to happen or to have an observation of something. As soon as a thought arises in your mind, an observer appears along with the object of observation. Thus we find that each person exists in two realities. We all exist in two realities, a spiritual dimension, which is the truest, most authentic part of ourselves, the absolute nature of our spiritual selves, but the relative realm of existence, where we have tons and tons and hundreds and thousands of thoughts and experiences and relationships, all wonderful things, but all distractions to finding the meditation, finding the stillness. Thus, we find that each person exists in those two realities. First, the silent state of being that is not captured by time. Again, I said 3 seconds, 20 minutes, it matters not. It matters not how long it is. It just matters that we find it. And when we find it, time is irrelevant. And that is the place of bliss. It is the home of bliss when we find that place. Anybody ever experienced that? I've had moments where I was doing something and I checked out of my mind completely. A lot of us are gardeners here at Unity North, and we check out of our mind, and it's like, how in the world did 4 hours just pass? I was having a dialogue with my friend David today. We were talking over coffee, and I looked at my clock, my watch, and I said, how in the world did 2 hours pass? I think we just sat down together. It's because it was a meaningful connection of oneness. Meditation's like that. We just get to the place where 3 seconds actually can be a 3-week vacation. The second home that he talks about is the relative world full of experiences. The mind lives in this world. So many people are trying to find the first world through the mind, but the mind is so anchored to the second world that we can't get there. It's not the portal or the avenue through which we find that meditation. That world is a place of constantly acting as the observer, focused on an object of observation. And so I have a few questions I just want to put out there tonight. Where are my notes for my questions? Does anybody want to comment about the meditation or what you experienced? If there was any part of it that felt really peaceful and good? And a couple of you nodded off in the room, I think, which is probably a good thing. We got you to the place of total relaxation where you just went away and you weren't here anymore. Anybody want to talk about that place? Or did anybody want to talk about the other place where most people find themselves, I just can't get quiet. I know I've had people in my office say, I've tried so hard to meditate. And I said, well, demonstrate how you're doing it. And they're almost grabbing the chair and saying, okay, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to find God. And that tension is just, it's so focused on the desire, the treasure at the end of the rainbow that they never get there. What if there was no reward to meditation? What if you had no idea of anything that was a benefit of meditation? I ask that of those of you online as well. What is the benefit? Is there a benefit? And if we claim that there is a benefit, does it shoot us in the foot of having the experience that we want? Interesting question. Anybody want to comment on that? What do you think the purpose of meditation is? Okay, but let's get her a microphone. Okay.
I got you. Meditation is different for me different times. But I think what is important is that you first get relaxed and then just get open.
So openness and relaxation?
Yes, And then, at least for me, I find if I try to make it happen, it really doesn't. And of course the breathing and things like that help. But I think it's when I finally just think, okay, God, I'm glad I have you, help me, of something like that,
So what would be the opposite of making something happen? If we were talking about...
just let it happen.
Allowing.
Allow. Mm-hmm.
So it's a state of allowing. And it's effortlessness. I don't put effort into finding God. I don't put effort into being still or quiet. I just allow an eternal, immortal state that maybe I've forgotten most of my life. I've forgotten who I am. State of allowing.
Mm-hmm, because it's there.
Yeah.
All the time. It's just sometimes
it is.
when
We can't be separate.
to find it, it's harder. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, what about anybody else? What is the purpose of meditation for you? Or do we even need a purpose for meditation? Anybody? Come on, don't be shy.
For me, I feel like it's listening to God. When I pray, I feel like that's talking and asking, and then when I'm meditating, I'm just allowing and listening to my inner voice.
That's the way a lot of people in Unity have explained it. Prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening to God. But by the definition of kind of what we talked about, is there a transcending of listening? If I am going to listen to something, am I an observer of something? If I'm listening, maybe it's a different ear, the ones I'm listening, I'm looking for words or thoughts or ideas. Is there a listening that transcends the desire for words and ideas to pop into my head?
I believe so. Sometimes I'm just enveloped in the oneness.
One of this challenges a little bit of the basic belief systems of unity. What is unity all about? It's all about thought. Unity teaches us that we are the product of our thoughts, and thoughts occur through a radio transmitting a frequency signal. Is it possible that if we're listening, we're trying to tap into a frequency as a separate energy from us, that the only listening that needs to happen is to just be the frequency, to be the vibration? And as I considered this idea, could it be, as Chopra was writing in the book, that the idea of we are what we think is a fallacy? I'll get to in just a second, Gerard will be there. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. But is it possible that thinking itself pulls us away from what we truly are as opposed to being who we are? Is the tool, the great tool for creation between our ears, is if that's where the mind is located, is it a distraction to the frequency that already exists within us, that we don't have to go seeking or listening or trying to find anything except just tuning into the vibration that we were created in and as? And the question I wrote is, could it be that the very act of thinking pulls us away from our true self? That thinking is pulling us away from who we are as opposed to creating a reality? Is thinking creating an illusion out here, and meditation is just simply escaping thought completely and totally? It narrows the spiritual energy. It hones the frequency of who we already are. So thinking needs to be set aside. And so that person who's trying to make it happen, I'm trying to listen, I'm trying to find God, I'm trying to be peaceful and calm, I'm trying to allow. Trying to allow is almost an oxymoron. How about I'm just going to be? Gerard, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say, sometimes for me, meditation is simply an escapism. Just, I need to get away. I need to calm down. I need to leave all the everything, just out of my head. Just calm, no thought, just relaxation. I mean, basically, just letting my body and everything just go. For a time period.
Something I talked about today with somebody had to do with the idea, am I running to something or am I running away from something? And is that a thought? I'm running away from my life to escape. An escape, and many people use meditation as escape. That's not a bad thing. But is the depth of meditation not escaping anything? Because it is unreal. I don't need to escape anything. I don't need to escape my body. I don't need to relax my body because it's not me. Now, I'm still running to something that might be separate from me. Could it be that it's not leaving anything or going towards anything? It's just being in that eternal now, which is a vacation from life, from the illusion and the movie of our lives, which have all kinds of emotions and energies in them. But it's not trying to find anything that's separate from me. It's a great remembering. For me, meditation is a great remembering. That's it. And that's very much in a place of effortlessness. The minute I find myself efforting, I realize I'm trying to escape something or I'm trying to find something out there, and I just don't have that. I just allow myself to remember who I am. And is 3 seconds enough? Is 3 seconds enough? So many people beat themselves up. I was only able to get quiet for 3 seconds. Is that enough? Anybody want to comment on that? Anybody want to say anything? Kelly? Thank you for taking the mic over there, David. I appreciate it.
I think it's more than enough.
It's more than that.
It's
Great.
more than enough. Yeah, and I if you come at it from the perspective of God is inside instead of outside, you don't have to really force anything. It's already there. We're just getting out of our own way. So the meditation is just an invitation to let that kind of bubble up to the consciousness. It's already there.
We can't be separate from that which we are. Mm-hmm. And running from something or running to something has a mindset in it that's built in of separation. I need to separate myself from my world, or I need to reach God that I have been separate from. Maybe it's all just God, as the chant said. Maybe all of it is just God, and it's building that complete awareness. Is awareness separate from observation? Can we separate those two words? Because I realized as I was doing the meditation, I asked you to be aware, and then I asked you not to observe. How does one do that? I don't know. I know that I have found moments where I would be playing the piano even. So are doing and meditation separate from each other? Can doing and being exist in the same field at the same time? Can a person find that which they are while doing and being at the same time? I think sometimes people think they want to jump this chasm from their world of doing and get into a state of being. And it's like, I can't make that journey. Well, maybe doing and being, certainly the Buddhists would talk about walking meditation. I find that when I am doing, sometimes whether it be playing the piano or walking, I can check out of this reality of the earth and just be in an altered state of being. So what are some things that you do that anybody online can type it into the Facebook or anybody here that is a doing that takes you to a place of being? Well, we got to get your mics so anybody can hear you, because this will be broadcast and played later on, so we want to hear what you have to say.
Well, you sort of just said it, but when you were just talking, I thought music is a prime example of that. Music is doing, but golly, doesn't it take the person doing it and the people that are listening to the music to a place of not doing? I guess you're still having to do it, but I'm sure that inside yourself, while you're physically making the music, it is taking our brain waves and your brain waves up to a wonderful place.
There's a muscle memory. Am I doing it? Am I the one playing the piano, or is it just muscle memory? The vehicle's doing what the vehicle does, and I'm just a part of that.
And when
That's
we
a question.
were talking earlier, I was thinking this. Really, probably our natural state is being with God and meditating. I choose to believe we come here a lot of times, and when we're not here, we're over there. And so that's really us, which is meditation. I mean, I think maybe this is our reality, so we all live and hopefully enjoy it in our bodies now. But meditation is sort of, in my opinion, probably just remembering how it is when we're not here. Or maybe we can't get that great, but, you know, a little taste of it.
So you said something. This is our reality. Is this our reality, or is this just an unreal world that we have made up, and meditation is getting to that which is real, transcending, or just taking all of it as energy, all of it as simply the offspring of God and a reflection, a manifestation of God? And what is the best way to do that? Let me ask that question. Is there the better way to meditate? Because that's what I find with people when they struggle with meditation. They're asking the question, well, what's the right way to do it? Give me the modality. Give me the, and I tell them to go for a walk and walking meditation. Well, no. Don't I have to sit? Don't I have to close my eyes? Don't I have to do something a certain way in order to find God? Which one is the right one? Anybody? Is there a right way to meditate, and is there a wrong way to meditate? I see you shaking your head, Marianne. You want to comment on that? I would love to hear what you have to say about it.
Can't be a right way and a wrong way.
There can't be a right way and a wrong way.
No, there are many ways. Obviously, there are many ways to meditate.
I try to tell people that if you're with somebody who tells you this is the right and the only way to meditate, run as fast as you can out the back door. The only right way to meditate for me is the way that works for me, that helps me be removed from observation, a state of being. There were the gurus that would tell you playing the piano is not a true meditation. Well, I know that I go to a true place of transcendence and enlightenment that way. Other people would do it sitting with a certain posture. Who am I to tell them that's wrong? Other people use yoga in order to get to that state. That's what yoga means. Yoga means union. And they use the yoga, not just a physical exercise, but through the body, they find that state of union with God and with the world. Which way is right? Which way is wrong? Right and wrong falls into what? The place of observation, the place of judgment, the place of mind. And so I'm using the very mind to judge the right or the wrong way, when it's like, no, this is the one that works for me. Some people will use reading. Some people use silence. I happen to really love silence. I also love the silence of the ocean, which is sound. But the sound of the waves, the rhythmic waves, that works for me. I'd be curious as to, and again, I asked this question earlier, how do you find that place of stillness within your soul? Anybody want to comment? How do you find that place within you?
I typically find it outside with nature, what I call earthing or grounding, just sitting outside and looking at the trees. And it was very powerful just this morning, having my coffee and just sitting there. But just a few minutes ago, I was thinking about the monks at Magnolia Grove Monastery. They make everything a meditation. Washing the dishes is a meditation. Eating's a meditation. Brushing your teeth can be a meditation.
So is that possible, that everything we do in this life can be a moment of God awareness? Thus the meditation that we did tonight that had music and chanting. Is it possible that getting up in the morning, putting our feet on the floor, eating something in the morning, driving the car, going to work, interacting with people, that each of those things can be a meditation? And I think that might be the goal. May my life be a prayer. May my life be a meditation. But I think the trick is we go, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. I bet you could do it for 3 seconds. I bet you could have 3 seconds at work or 3 seconds before you jump out of the bed and hit the ground running, or 3 seconds in the middle of Atlanta traffic to go, I feel one with all these people. I've tasted that in conditions that were less than ideal to the perfect meditation the way you're supposed to do it. And I think we transcend the thought process to know that the possibility of that union with God is absolutely ever present. Ever present. And it doesn't have to look and feel a certain way except the way that works for you. Gerard had his hand up, and then Susie. And then Marianne.
I was just going to say, oddly enough, I find vacuuming because it's one of those things where I do it so much it's mindless, and to a certain degree. So I'm able to transcend, and before you know it, it's done, and I feel a self of completeness, and it works for me.
I might draw the line at dusting, but I might join you in vacuuming. But you said something there that's important I want to work with. We teach mindfulness, and you said mindlessness. There was no mind. When you're vacuuming, you get to the place you've done it so much it's just rote. You're just doing it, and you can go to another place. Which one would be the one to get us to that realm that we are seeking? Mindfulness, which the definition of mindfulness is paying attention to what you're paying attention to. But by the definition that Deepak Chopra has given us, if I'm paying attention to something, I am an observer of something. Maybe the journey is to get to mindlessness, where there is no mind, there is no personality. There is no judgment or thought at all. I have transcended the mind into the place of just eternal now, eternal bliss, even if it's dusting. Susie.
Mindfulness for me is just gratitude. That's when I feel the closest to my oneness with God, is when I'm remembering all the things. And that's when I get that excited feeling inside, and that joyous feeling inside is when I'm remembering.
Is it possible to live in an eternal, but don't pass the mic yet, an eternal state of gratitude? And is there contained within the idea of gratitude things that I am grateful for and things that I am not grateful for? Or is it living in an energetic state that no matter what's going on, I am just the vibrating energy of gratefulness, of an attitude of thankfulness? And it doesn't really matter if it's good, bad, or otherwise, because good, bad, and otherwise is an observation and a judgment. I'm just grateful.
I just have realized lately that I have not been in gratitude as much as I usually am, and in that experience have felt down or depressed a little bit or whatever. And I just today was thinking, I have not been noticing how grateful I am lately. And most of the time I think I do live in a constant state of grateful attitude and go around and say, oh, I just love this and I just love that, and I'm so happy, and I love my house and I love my husband and I love this and whatever.
You have an observation. You're having a noticing, an observation. You're being mindful to what you're paying attention to. What's on the other side of the mindfulness? What's on the other side of listening to a chant or having somebody guide you in a meditation? Is that the mindlessness that Gerard was talking about, where it's like, whoa, I no longer exist? And is it possible that the reason people have trouble meditating is there's a fear, I'm going to lose myself? You know, the eternal state of oneness with God is the wave afraid if it becomes just one with the ocean, it will disappear. Do we as human beings who have defined ourselves by thought, by mindfulness, by noticing, by the judgments, do we lose ourselves? And that's the eternal state. And I have touched it, maybe for 3 seconds. 3 seconds I've touched it. But you come out of that 3 seconds where all of that was transcended, I wasn't noticing or observing, and it literally feels like a 2-week vacation. Marianne had her hand up. And then I see that there's somebody online putting something up. If somebody up in... if Teresa's up there, so if somebody in the booth, because my eyes are not going to allow me to read on the back, I could read it behind me. So, but Marianne, you go first.
What was that 3 seconds like for you?
What was it like? You know, it's beyond words. That 3 seconds, I come back into an awareness of my life, and I don't know how to describe it because there are no words to describe it.
Was it blissful?
I think blissful would be as close as I could possibly get. Enlightened, but that almost is like describing me, Richard, as a person, as enlightened or blissful. And the reality, I wasn't any of those things. I was bliss. I was enlightenment. I was presence in that moment.
I'm losing my words. I had the words, and it took so long.
Well,
for me
I'll tell you
to
what,
get the
just think,
mic that
I know, I'm sorry it took
that
so long.
I'm
If you want to think
losing
about it, we can answer Teresa Grant's comment and then come back to you, because I know something profound there that wants to come out. So what does Teresa have?
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
It's Teresa Grant. For me, meditation has many meanings. At times, I am seeking to connect with the nothingness and allness that I am, my true self. Other times, I am looking to find respite from worry, thinking, and consumption of the outside world.
Could it be that the purpose of meditation changes where you happen to be at any given time? There's like 4 or 5 ideas there. And so the purpose is individual to Teresa, based upon what's going on in any given moment. I think the answer is a clear yes. And the only person that gets to decide that is you. The only person that gets to determine the purpose of the meditation, the stillness and the silence, is you. And the only person that determines the method to get there is you. Okay, Marianne, those thoughts came, didn't they?
Huge leaps in awareness can come suddenly when people go through dramatic and sudden life changes, such as a near-death experience themselves, a dear one almost losing their lives, someone close to them almost dying.
Hold that close.
Or a woman giving birth, something dramatic happening in their lives. When something like that happens to a person, not always, but sometimes awareness you can have a dramatic leap in awareness.
So could it be, you described giving birth, a blissful, joyous celebration experience. You also talked about death, somebody passing. Is it possible to find the state that we wanted to try and find here tonight in our very brief time of reflection is a matter of just being present, whether it be joy, whether it be pain, whether it be just be life leading us. So many of us have observed good, bad. Oh, somebody died, that's bad. A child is being born, that's good. But what if it isn't good or bad and I'm just being present to what is? I know that sometimes in my life, some of the most dramatically challenging and difficult things that I've ever happened to me became the most life-changing jumps in quantum leaps.
And you feel the divine near you. You just know that it's there. You can feel it, you know it, and it just changes your life forever.
A meditation, one of the most powerful meditations that I've ever experienced was sitting at the deathbed of a close friend who was making their transition. They were pulled from life support, and it took about 3 minutes before they were gone. It was that same state that was beyond description. It was beyond words. It was beyond anything. It was just, this is what it's all about. Yes, we were experiencing sadness, but that was God. The sadness was God, was love. We were experiencing a sense of bliss and joy that he was free from the pain that he was in here on earth. But all of it was just one big bundle of experience that I didn't have to think or observe or judge as good or bad. I just was.
The person was being released,
Hold that close.
freed from their body.
Somebody
it's
else
a
is
good thing.
somebody else is up there on the. Can anybody read that? David, can you read it? Because my eyes just aren't going to let me even see the back wall.
It's Jennifer Gorell. Life at its best is meditation. Any and all meditation helps us to be in the place of presence. And the more we are in that place, the better. Smiley face, smiley face.
So is it possible that, as I said earlier, may my life be a prayer, may my life be a meditation, that everything, no exceptions, there is no you or me, there is no this experience and that experience, there is no judgment, everything in life is a meditation, and it just has the possibility of us being awake to it.
Well, that's the philosophy of the whole Thich Nhat Hanh order of interbeing. I mean, that's his, I guess you could call it his religion. I mean, it's the order of interbeing, that everything is fully connected and that life can be just moment to moment, present moment, present moment, present moment, just be everything.
I love
Focus.
that. You lead one of those meditations, you've done it present moment, or now. Now. And if we look at life and where our suffering comes in and that disconnect from all that is.
It's going to the
I'm thinking about what happened at the previous now.
previous or into
or
the
the
future.
next now that's about to come. I'm just here. Be here now. I think that our board chair wrote something up there. David, since you've got the mic, why don't you keep reading with Jenny?
Okay, that's Jenny Powell Langer. Just as it takes effort and time to build quadriceps and abdominal muscles, developing mental muscles requires the same. Like weightlifting for your brain, meditation is brain exercise that builds capacity for attention, resistance to distraction or worrying thoughts, and emotional tranquility.
I'm reminded of the quote, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. So what do we need to do? Is consistency, as Jenny has put out there, is consistency important? I think some people that are struggling with meditation, I say, well, how often have you, and I don't like to use the word tried because that the effort, I'm not sure I would agree with Jenny on the effort part, but certainly the time part. Well, I did it last week, or I tried it last month. What part of finding that presence of God requires practice? You know, I like to use the metaphor, the fall from grace, that if we read in the beginning of the Bible, that there was a leaving of the Garden of Eden. There was an awareness, a knowledge of good and evil. My head is judging as good or bad experience, that we then lost our connection to God, or we believed we had lost that connection to God. Maybe it's going to take some time to retrace our steps. You know, one of my favorite stories is the prodigal son. And the prodigal son goes way off into the distance to sow his wild oats, being totally focused on the earthly realm and all of the things that are good or bad in the earthly realm. And it says he comes to himself. And then there's a turnaround where he begins to journey home. It does not say how long it took him to get home. There's no reference to that time because what? As we said in the meditation, God is timeless. There is no time. But how many of us in our lives say, I just don't have the time to meditate. I don't have the time to be still. And I guess I would submit and challenge anybody who says that. You just don't have the time to prioritize God in your life. We as a culture, as a human race, have clearly set our priorities away from stillness and quiet. I go spend any time in a big city, there is no quiet there. But is the quiet an external reality, or the noise an external reality, or is it an internal reality that I forgot to bring into the city? I've been in the middle of complete and total chaos, and maybe it was only 4 or 5 seconds, but I found a place, I'm above all of this. It's not affecting me. I don't like noise. I don't like busyness and crowds. But is it possible that I can be right smack dab in the middle of World War III and be the veritable presence of God? My answer is an emphatic yes. And how do I know that? Because I have practiced it. I've put myself into the middle of those environments so that I could practice it. Anybody want to comment on that? I'd love to just know what it is maybe that needs to shift and change in our lives in order to get to that place. Because there might be some external shifts we're going to observe. I need to make a shift in my life to make the prioritization of my oneness with God at the top of the list and not number 5. Kelly.
I was just thinking about what you said about the kind of the chaos, the calm in the chaos. And like, like pilots or race car drivers learn how to do that. They'll kind of thrive on, they can find a trance state even though there's all these things going on. And Gerard was mentioning, like, with the vacuuming, right? So it's easier if we have something that's like uninterrupted time or still. But then once you practice, you can get to that space where all kind of stuff can be going on and you can still be in the zone.
One thing about vacuuming that the vacuum vibrates and you can feel the vibration in your hand. Is it possible that it's just practicing the vibration of God? What is the vibration of God? And who am I to tell you what it is? You find it for yourself. But how many people, I always like to tell people, return to the mountain. There was a moment in your life, and your life, even if you're only 5 years old, where you felt the vibration of peace, the vibration of God, the vibration of love, the vibration of oneness. It may have been 3 seconds. I always tell people, go back to the mountain. Return to the mountain. If you experienced it once, you can duplicate it. But I think we sometimes get so caught up in, out of the hour, there was 59 minutes and 57 seconds of chaos. I'm saying return to the 3 seconds where you felt the vibration of peace, of love, and of God, or vacuum. Whatever it took to get you to that awareness, go back there and do it again, and then do it again. Jenny talked about building the muscle. Maybe that's the building of the muscle. It certainly is a very intentional and purposeful practice and activity of not trying it once and then giving up, or trying it for a week and then giving up. Marianne?
The last statement he read is absolutely true. In meditation, you do have to keep up practice, and it's just as important as bodybuilding and going to the gym regularly. And it is like a muscle, and you have to do it regularly. You can't do it helter-skelter and do it 1 week and skip a week, and you have to do it regularly and make it a top priority and do it twice a week. My experience with transcendental meditation, that was true. Twice a week, 20 minutes, 2 times a day, every day.
So does our culture encourage that? The culture that we live in today, and let's just take the United States of America, because I think we're the icon, is that practice of spiritual muscles, of spiritual awareness, is it encouraged as a priority? My simple observation and judgment, it is not. The body, use the body as the metaphor. Boy, you look around, we are encouraged to take care of our body temples, this vehicle that we walk around the earth on. We are there, everywhere you look, there's a product. Everywhere you look, there's an opportunity to make your body stronger and healthier. We focus on our careers. Everywhere you look, there's get more, be more, make more, do more. Number 2 priority. Where would spirit, just thinking about life as we know it today, where would that encouragement fall on the prioritization list, just as a general statement? Way down?
Way down.
I think it's growing. What do you think? I think that it is, as we get to the end of realizing money doesn't make me happy, the career isn't making me fulfilled, I have the perfect body, not that I've ever said that, but the people who are constantly in the gym 6 hours a day building that body, which will eventually decide that it can't keep it up and you will transcend, that there is a great migration and shift to what we talked about tonight, that I feel the prioritization of our spiritual awareness growing. And is it possible that over the last 2 years, and Gerard's got his hand up, let's get the mic over there, is it possible that that which we have called not so good, a quarantine, where we've been separate from each other, can be used as a great springboard to the prioritization of our spiritual well-being? It's been a lonely and depressing time for a lot of people. There's been a lot of internal chaos, maybe less external chaos. The crime rate went down. But is it possible that we can use what is to find a greater capacity to raise the priority of our spirituality and our oneness with God to a higher level? I believe so.
As an observation, I will say that I believe the younger generation, meaning the generation after mine, my nieces and nephews and friends and their friends have a different mindset as far as what makes them happy. I grew up in a generation of, okay, you're supposed to get a job, marry someone, get a house, have children. That was all, embedded in me. The generation, even in raising my child, I kind of tried to instill that, but I'm hearing and feeling from him and his generation that no, happiness is finding something that you enjoy doing. It's not about how much money you make doing it. It's wanting to do it, being comfortable doing it, dedicating yourself to it. And if you find that you've made a wrong choice, it's okay to fix that choice or manipulate that situation so that you can make a better choice. So I think the generation after us is getting it. And it may not be until, well, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you might get on thin ice there. But
Yeah.
how many generations down before we have that great transformation of the entire planet? I think you're right. There's an observation. There's a new energy coming onto the planet right now. And for me, that shift is from happiness to joy. Two very different ideas. When I'm at the piano and I experience bliss, maybe joy is the word I was looking for. It is, happiness is very circumstantial. Happiness is all about, well, I like the way things are showing up. I like the way people are showing up. I'm fulfilled. I'm making enough money. My body feels good. All externally motivated feelings. Joy is relational. And what is joy relational to? The presence of God that I am. Could it be that the next generation is coming in with an awareness of their connection to otherworldly truths and notions, and they're looking at all the old dogs trying to teach us new tricks to a degree. Now, the new generation's got their challenges too, but the state, and to go back to your question, it was joy. I need and want for nothing in this moment. It doesn't mean that everything out here is perfect. In fact, it may be totally imperfect, but I have a sense of joy because I just feel God in the middle of it. Any closing thoughts anybody wants to make before we end the evening? Okay. Is there anybody online that's got one more thing to put up there? Or are we good? There's one more? We're good. Okay. This has been a great experiment with this Rapping with the Rev, and I don't know how many people were online. We tried the Zoom, and it just did not appear to be effective, but I find these dialogues to be extremely meaningful. And I'm hoping that if we're going to continue this format, that you invite somebody. Again, next week, it's going to be a powerful dialogue. These 5 women have overcome circumstances that most of us will never ever experience in our lifetime. And these 5 women also have found that place of bliss and joy in the midst of it. Chronic disease, cancer, things that most of us would say, oh, I shouldn't be happy. But things where these women found a place of joy and found a greater capacity to know themselves and to know the presence of God in the middle of it. It's going to be very raw. It's going to be very real. I hope that those of you online will bring somebody into the room. Otherwise, we'll see you online next week, and we'll hope to see all of you here next week. These are really powerful ladies. If this has meaning to you, if our meditation and the dialogue has meaning for you, I'm going to invite you to say thank you, to express gratitude, as Susie said, to find a way to say physically thank you. certainly vibrate at the level of gratitude when you make a donation with text to give, or in the basket at the back of the building here, or mail a check in, or come by and tell the staff, I really appreciate that you're figuring this all out during this time. Those words are energy, the money is energy, the text is energy, and it's all an opportunity to feel and know the presence of God. Let's close in a place of prayer. As we head into our lives and into the evening and into the cold winter months that we could label as bad or cold or can't wait till next spring or summer, let's just be present to the miracle of God that's before us right now. Wherever we are now, present moment, and then a new now and a new present moment. A place to vibrate at the highest level of our awareness that we cannot be disconnected from the presence of God that we are. As we go forth, we hold this for each other, we know this for each other, and we allow ourselves to be ever grateful and ever aware as we observe life, as we are mindful of life, that we transcend the thought, we transcend the mind, and just be. So it is, and so it shall be. Amen, amen. Together, amen. Have a wonderful and blessed and beautiful evening. Let the meditation continue all night until you go to bed, and take something beautiful with you to sleep. Thanks for joining us. Thank you all for joining us and being willing to talk. It makes it so much more fun for me. Good night, everybody.